Hey everyone, it's Mari here for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be creating a card today using the really sweet Heartbeats stamp set and coordinating die. I'm also going to use the quilted cover plate die. This is really fun. It actually creates this really cool pierced pattern on your cardstock when you die cut that. So I've run that through my machine now, and I also wanted to use this really sweet stencil set. This is the Dots and Hearts stencil set that allows you to layer either dots or hearts over this quilted cover plate. And what this does is it actually adds that pattern where the lines of that cover plate intersect once those lines are pierced onto your paper. So you just need to use the etched lines on the stencil to line this up. It's really super easy to do. I'm just going to flip that over and add a little bit of low tack tape to the back of the paper, just taping the stencil to the paper in that way, and then I'll put that on my waffle flower stencil mat and then go ahead and add some medium to the paper. So what I wanted to do was add something really shimmery and shiny. So this is some Golden Sand Glitter Kiss Cosmic Shimmer product, but any kind of shimmery paste that you have in your stash would work, especially the Gina K Glitz glitter gel or anything like that. So I'm just using my Nuvo spatula here to take that through the stencil. This is a really simple process that yields just this most beautiful pattern on your cardstock when you're finished. So I'm just taking my time, making sure I'm getting an even amount of that paste through that stencil. And when I'm finished, I'll just take that stencil to my sink and make sure that I get that all washed up so that the paste doesn't stick permanently onto that plastic stencil. So just going to finish up that lower area, and that process is all going to be finished. Now I'll set that aside to dry and move on to the next step for my project. So once I've got that all on there and I'm happy, I'm just actually taking a little bit of the excess off the top, and I'll put that back into the pot just so that I, don't waste any of that beautiful gold product. So now I'm just going to move on to that next process while that's drying, and I'm going to use this sweet stamp set. So the Heartbeats is so cute. I really wanted to use this pear stamp, so I'm going to go ahead and use that, and I'll also use one of the sentiments from the set as well. Now I have my white Nina cardstock in my Mini Misty already ready to stamp out, and I'm going to stamp that with my Honeybee Intense Black ink, since it is, well, great ink. It's a great black ink, and it's also Copic friendly or alcohol marker friendly. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to show you that ink pad here, and then I'll go ahead off camera and get that all stamped out and ready to go. I've also stamped out the sentiment, and I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing with that sentiment. So I've got some clear embossing powder, just going to apply that over top of that stamping, and now I'll just heat that up and melt it, and then I've got a really nice dimensional sentiment for the front of my card. So now that that's melted with my heat tool, I'm going to take the coordinating die for, actually I'm not, I'm going to color those first, which makes sense. So I'm going to use a bunch of Copic markers here. So I'm going to start off here with a couple of colors. I've got Y11 and YG03. I use the Y11 kind of in the lower center area of the pear, and then the YG03 around the edges. I'm going to work into that yellow area in the center just to kind of create a little bit of a reflection or lighter area on my pear. I'm going to go in with YG06 around the left edge of those two pears, and then I'll go back in with my YG03 and blend that out. I'm going to go right over top of the yellow area with my YG03, and you can just see that creates a really nice lighter area in the center. Now I'm going over that right side of the pears with Y15, and that's just going to create a little more of a yellow hue on my pears. I'm going to use a little bit of, I think this is E55 on the stems, and then I used one of those greens, I think YG06 on the leaves, and that completes the pears. Now I'm going to take the coordinating dies, and I'm going to die cut out these two images here, the sentiment and the pears. And I love that the Honeybee stamps have the stamp sets almost always have a coordinating die for the sentiment, which I find is really super handy. I'm going to use my low tack tape to tape down those pieces and get those die cut out. Now I'm also going to be using the scallop heart dies. This is kind of like a medium size die from that set. The set is actually a stack of I'm going to say probably about 6 hearts, although I'm not exactly sure, but there's lots of hearts in that die set and they're stacked. So I've die cut out my glittery piece, and now I'm going to use the Fluttering Hearts cover plate and the Fluttering Hearts pierced cover plate together to create my card front. So here you can just see those two die plates, those two cover plates, and so I've cut those from some white cardstock, and now I'm going to layer the Fluttering Hearts cover plate over top of the pierced cover plate to create a really dimensional background. So I'm using my Honeybee Stamps liquid glue tube to adhere this Fluttering Hearts cover plate over top of the pierced plate, just using a little bit of liquid adhesive here and there. I didn't put adhesive on the entire back of this piece, just a little bit here and there to make sure that it gets secured down to that card front. So there you can see that piece and how it layers together. It's just really cool. I love how it just adds a little bit of extra dimension to the paper. And now what you'll see me doing here is I'm going to add that onto my card base. My card base is an A2 size top folding card base from some Nina 110 pound white cardstock, and I'm just going to again use my Honeybee liquid precision glue tube here to add a little bit of liquid adhesive to that piece. I'll adhere that onto my card base, and now I can go ahead and embellish the front of my card with my beautiful die cut scalloped heart, which has those sweet little adorable glittery hearts with that quilted cover plate. And then I will of course be adding the pear and the sentiment to that as well. Now I'm going to be using these foam dots from Honeybee Stamps. These are sold in the shop, and I will be sure to link them up. They're really fantastic. They are a nice size, and they have a little tab on the back that's super easy to remove. And so I'm going to adhere these to the back of my scallop heart, and then I'll add that onto my card front. So there you can just see I'm trying to center it, just eyeballing it to make sure that it's on the center of my card. I love the dimension that those foam dots add to the card, and I'm also going to use one of those dots on my little pears as well. I'm just going to grab my Honeybee Stamps Precision tweezers to help me place the pears onto my card, and I thought it would look cute if it looked like the pears were just sitting on top of that sentiment. And I'm going to add some smaller foam dots to the sentiment here and add that onto my card as well. I just love that sentiment. I think it's super cute. This would be really great for an anniversary or for Valentine's Day. There's lots of different occasions that you could give this card, or just for an everyday card to give to someone that you care about. So this is my finished card. I think it's really super cute. I hope you enjoyed watching today, and I did link up to all of the products in the description box below that I used. Have an amazing day, friends, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.